Hello, welcome back. Nobody ever imagined Jaleel White would react this way. When the news broke that Malcolm-Jamal Warner had passed away, fans were in shock. But what came next from Jaleel caught everyone completely off guard. Instead of a simple message or public statement, Jaleel posted something raw, emotional, and deeply personal, something that wasn't just a farewell, but almost a confession wrapped in grief. His tribute carried a kind of pain that only those who truly understood their bond could recognize. Malcolm, remembered lovingly as Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show, wasn't just a sitcom star. He represented something bigger: resilience, talent, and the quiet strength of a young black man navigating Hollywood during a complicated era. His sudden death, reportedly by drowning, left many stunned, but none more so than Jaleel, who had shared a quiet but powerful friendship with him over the years. Jaleel didn't issue a press release or appear on television to share his thoughts. He posted a black and white photo on Instagram, simple and stripped of any glamour. It showed him and Malcolm, arms around each other, laughing backstage at an old event. But it was the caption that truly broke hearts. He spoke about how Malcolm was the only one who knew what it was like to smile in public while falling apart inside. He thanked him for being his quiet refuge, his brother in the background of a very loud and demanding industry. The words felt like more than just mourning. They read like a lifetime of unsaid feelings finally poured out. Fans could sense it immediately. Something deeper was going on. And maybe the public had never really known the true depth of their relationship. Insiders began whispering that these two were more than colleagues. They were survivors of the same storm. Both had grown up on television sets. Both had become icons for a generation. And both had faced the harsh reality of what happens when the world stops clapping. Their friendship, largely kept away from cameras and interviews, was grounded in shared trauma, unseen battles, and late-night talks no one else knew about. When Jaleel was struggling with being typecast as Steve Urkel, it was Malcolm who reminded him of his worth. And when Malcolm's music career failed to take off, Jaleel was there encouraging him not to give up. They were lifelines to each other, not for applause, but for survival. But life eventually got in the way. As they grew older, their paths separated. There was no big fight, no drama, just distance. One went into music and directing, the other tried different roles and even reality TV, and over time, those once frequent check-ins grew more rare until they stopped altogether. Some say the silence was mutual. Others think it was born out of disappointment or the emotional weight both carried. There were rumors that Jaleel felt Malcolm had become distant and withdrawn, while Malcolm supposedly thought Jaleel never moved past his TV persona. But in the end, none of that mattered, because when Malcolm died, all that was left between them was silence and regret. Jaleel's tribute made that silence deafening. He wrote lines that sounded like apologies, confessions, and memories all wrapped in one. He said he still heard Malcolm's voice telling him to hold on. He admitted he wished he had called more. And he mourned not just the man but the lost time, the missed chances, and the unspoken love. Even Malcolm's family reportedly reached out to Jaleel, confirming that Malcolm had always spoken highly of him, even if they weren't in touch anymore. The story behind their friendship revealed something Hollywood rarely shows: what happens to its stars after the spotlight dims. Malcolm, once the beloved Theo, struggled to find work after The Cosby Show ended. Directors couldn't see him as anyone but that character. And when the Cosby legacy was tarnished by scandal, Malcolm was indirectly affected too, losing opportunities he'd already been struggling to find. He turned to smaller projects, music, and independent work, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. Jaleel's story wasn't much different. Despite his attempts to reinvent himself, the world couldn't see past the glasses and suspenders. Every audition reminded him that, in Hollywood's eyes, he was just Urkel, and as time wore on, that rejection left scars. Malcolm became increasingly private, reportedly battling health issues and depression. Close friends noticed he had started cutting people off, avoiding appearances, even canceling plans at the last minute. Some say his death wasn't just an accident but possibly the result of deeper pain that no one fully understood, whether it was physical, emotional, or a tragic combination of both. His final moments were spent alone. Jaleel, like many others, was left with only memories and the aching realization that their last conversation, 4 years earlier, had been shallow and awkward. Not because they didn't care, but because neither of them knew how to say what really mattered. Now, with Malcolm gone, Jaleel's post has become a kind of monument, a space where fans, friends, and fellow actors are gathering to remember not just a beloved actor but a human being who carried so much more than we ever knew. It's a reminder that even in the glitter of fame, pain can hide in plain sight, and sometimes the truest goodbyes are the ones we never get to say until it's too late.